I was a diamond in the rough.
Artless IO.
We said there was no more room for us. No more room, but now we here.
Dragon Ball Super, easily the most overhated series in its fandom. Though some people might believe that the overhated title belongs to GT, I'd argue that back then it could be said that it was overhated. But now, currently, it's just the script has been flipped. Like, it's getting a lot of recognition through other media, such as video games and Super Saiyan 4 returning in Super Dragon Ball Heroes, sort of giving it that underrated status. But yeah, there's a lot of misunderstanding on certain story details about Dragon Ball Super, which spreads around like a wildfire, since the fandom is full of misinformed individuals who lack a basic capability of analysis. So I'm going to talk about these story details and disprove the misconceptions that spawn from them. The first one is Super Saiyan Blue, and the main confusion about this form is that people think it's weak since Krillin was able to clash a Kamehameha against it, but that's not the case. Blue's ki control is always overlooked and never taken into consideration when it comes to the people who bash on it. Not only are there several moments in the show that proves Blue's ki control, like Goku vs. Hit,
強さと穏やかな心を合わせ持ち気のコントロール極めたスーパーサイヤ人ブルーならだ
Goku vs. Kale, rounds 1 and 2,
お待たせしました。
あのパワーを完全にコントロールできるなんて。
コントロールどころかケールの器具が爆発的に膨らむ。
どうかな
今の耐えやがった。
But even the method of achieving Blue is done in the means of perfect ki control. Another thing about Blue is that people tend to believe that it's a legitimate god form, which it isn't. It's more so of an inferior imitation to God Ki. It's not 100% the same. This is referenced in the Universe 6 tournament by Vegeta.
You're blue!
First we called it a god power, but not anymore. We decided it needs a new name, and if you keep training, you too can reach this Super Saiyan Blue.
Then again with Goku Black's Super Saiyan Rose form, which is what Blue is supposed to be when used by an individual who has the official status of a god, such as a Supreme Kai or a god of destruction. With that said, the forms that actually do indeed have authentic god ki is Goku's perfected Ultra Instinct and Vegeta's Ultra Ego. The fandom really likes to complain about how the Universe 6 Saiyans ruined Super Saiyan because of the infamous Tingly Back method. But what if I were to tell you that the Tingly Back thing isn't completely far-fetched and was something around ever since Dragon Ball Z's Android Saga? Kaba explains that the Tingly Back method cannot be used to achieve the Super Saiyan form for the first time, and is only a method to be used after achieving the Super Saiyan form traditionally through anger. This isn't the first time we've seen Super Saiyan activated without anger. In fact, we see this during Goku's first confrontation with Future Trunks. He's not enraged, he simply activates it at will. And he does it through ki control, specifically in his back. This is proven when Goku is teaching Caulifla about Super Saiyan. He's aware of what Caulifla is talking about, meaning that he also uses the Tingly Back method, it's just that he's never really talked about it. The reason as to why Caulifla is able to use the Tingly Back method for her first try is simply because she's a fighter with great potential. Another thing complained about these Saiyans is their power, which also has a reasonable explanation. They progress as fast as they do in strength because of their S cells, which is an explanation provided by Toriyama to explain how Trunks and Goten achieved Super Saiyan. A Saiyan who's pure of heart produces more S cells, and depending on their environment is also a factor. The Universe 6 Saiyans are warriors who fight against evil forces to preserve and protect planets instead of laying them to waste in order to make a profit out of them, unlike the Universe 7 Saiyans. A bloodline full of pure-hearted Saiyans throughout generations, and the fact that they fight evil forces every day. It makes sense why they're able to somewhat keep up with Goku and Vegeta, even though they are still several steps far behind them. People really love to undermine and downplay this feat since it makes Super Goku insanely strong, and especially the haters when their narrative is that Super Goku is the weakest version in all of Dragon Ball. There is no proof whatsoever to say that Goku got weaker or the God boost in his base wasn't permanent. He only faces stronger opponents and improves his own strength on top of the God boost. A complaint I've been hearing about recently is that it's an inconsistency that Broly didn't shake the universe. Again, that's just another misconception. When Goku shook the universe, it was because he wasn't used to his newly acquired God Ki when he was fighting against Beerus, and it's the same reason why he's the one who mainly created the shockwaves. It couldn't have come from only Beerus since he's actually an experienced god of destruction, and he knows how to use his destructive power. Broly is established to have been trained by his father Paragus, who has served in the same military/Frieza Force as a lieutenant colonel, and they were stranded on Vampa until they were found by new members of the Frieza Force, Limo and Chile. That's an approximate 40 years of training in harsh conditions in a landscape full of beasts, not to mention that Broly's Saiyan genetics are stated to be infinitely superior than the average Saiyans.
And once he receives training, he will grow to be an outstanding warrior. He'll be a powerful asset to our forces.
He could even end up being the legendary Super Saiyan.
My point is that Broly had years to learn to control his strength, and since he's a legendary Saiyan, he learns and grows quickly. Broly's in a different situation than Goku is. Goku had to get used to his new God Ki. Broly has normal Ki, which he knows how to control, and when he loses sanity, he becomes a slave to his instincts and wants to fight anyone he sees. He's not like Kid Buu where he's pure evil and bent on destruction, so it makes sense that he didn't shake the universe with his power. But either way, this complaint is irrelevant since he shattered reality, and that by itself is a universal feat. This misconception is pretty simple to explain. If you just paid attention to the entire tournament of power, you understand why this one is false. So, 17 and Gohan both fought a heavily suppressed Blue Goku, and suddenly people think they're Super Saiyan Blue tier. Well, we can gauge their level of power and get a sense of how strong they actually are by using Toppo as a measurement. From what we've seen from Toppo, it's safe to say that he is actually blue level. He's a candidate for his universe's god of destruction, and he has God Ki. As we see from that clip, 17 doesn't engage Toppo directly. Instead, he chooses to run away, keeping his distance using his infinite stamina to his advantage. But he wouldn't be doing this if he was actually blue level, like how some people say he is. And for Gohan, well... Yeah, that's self-explanatory. To put in simple words, if Gohan and 17 had trouble teaming up against Toppo, then they're not blue level, which proves that Goku was holding back against them when they fought. A lot of people in the fandom don't fully understand Ultra Instinct and the unique circumstance when Goku uses it. We first see Ultra Instinct in the Resurrection F arc when Whis uses it against Goku and Vegeta during training. It's essentially a technique that is constantly active, which protects Whis from any danger or damage. But when Goku first activates his version of Ultra Instinct, it comes off as a form with stamina issues, giving it a time limit. This could be due to the fact that Ultra Instinct is a difficult technique to master, even for the likes of the gods of destruction, which is why it manifests in such a backward situation for a mortal like Goku. This revelation is made clear in the beginning of the Granola Saga when Whis is training Goku and he explains that he didn't technically master Ultra Instinct since it's supposed to be used at all times, like when an angel uses it, putting Goku at the bottom of the ladder of the users of Ultra Instinct. Later on, we see Goku use Ultra Instinct as a technique instead of a form, when he uses it with his other Saiyan transformations. Bear in mind that when Goku uses it like this, it won't boost his power since it's not a multiplier like Super Saiyan, it's just a technique that allows him to dodge and attack without thinking about it. During Goku's first fight against Granola, he shows struggle in maintaining Ultra Instinct constantly since it takes a vast amount of concentration to hold, and he states himself that his training for Ultra Instinct is lacking. He then uses the silver-haired Ultra Instinct, which is 100% of his power, but this is where its stamina issue presents itself as a major problem. The more he continues to fight in silver-haired UI, the stamina drain gradually decreases UI's accuracy and consistency, which is why Goku got one-shotted by Granola after beating his clone. Granola was able to utilize the weakness and spotted an opening with his evolved right eye that allows him to see through vital points. I think this is the misconception I've seen in the Dragon Ball fandom the most, and I'm tired of seeing it. This belief first came from the Battle of Gods movie, which takes place 4 years after the Buu Saga. Now, for the movie, this complaint is valid, since they should be teenagers, but for Super, the time placement is completely different. Instead of 4 years, the anime's version takes place 6 months after the Buu Saga. So with that being said, Goten and Trunks look like kids in Super because they're supposed to. And with that, the video has reached its end. The reason why I even decided to make this video is because I was fed up with all the misinformation that's been going around about Super for some time. So in response to all the false info, I wanted to spread some truth about it for a change. I'm not trying to say that Dragon Ball Super is this flawless masterpiece that deserves to win an Oscar despite not being a movie. I just think it gets mindlessly bashed on and judged only by its surface, but it's not that bad of a show if you take a moment to look past its surface and see it for what it is. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe if you want to stick around for more reviews and video analysis. Crystal Bliss clocking out.